Susan Barr, flight director for Honor Flight, explains about the training that the Guardians must go through to make the veterans' experience memorable.
Well, the more hours we can put into the prep makes it easier on the vets. It decreases their stress because they're afraid that they're going to have something lost or forgotten, or they're going to get lost. And so when they see how organized we are, they relax a lot more. So that's why all the hours of prep, it just makes the trip smooth, makes the vets less stressed, which means less health problems, and a better day for everybody.
The veterans landed in Baltimore to a water cannon salute, as well as a memorable greeting by the Navy midshipmen. This is a greeting that most veterans will always remember. Once on the bus, the veterans had a police escort through Washington, D.C. in order to fight the traffic. The first stop was the changing of the guard in Arlington National Cemetery. An Honor Guard member explains more about it.
So what we're actually out there doing is we're just guarding the unknowns. The unknowns, there's 3 of them. There's one from the World War I, World War II, Korean War. There was one from the Vietnam War. He was identified and disinterred. His family's from St. Louis. They had him reinterred at Jefferson Barracks National Cemetery in St. Louis, Missouri. in 1998. So that's where he lays. The center crypt says, "Honoring and keeping faith with America's missing servicemen, 1958-1975. It's now just a crypt. It's pretty much a time capsule. It has a Viet Cong flag, a bunch of Vietnam memorabilia from that war. And then those 3 unknowns were just selected. There's 4,723 unknowns in the cemetery today. Those 3 are just the face of any veteran, anyone who served and sacrificed for the ideas and beliefs of our country. And that's what we're out there guarding. Every 21 steps we take, every 21-second pause, that's what we're doing out there.
The ceremony that you are about to witness is the taking of the guard. Hunt! Holder! Hold! Howard! Halt! Haste! Reason! Halt!
Senator Bob Dole, who was chairman of the World War II committee, greets the veterans as they enter the World War II memorial.
Well, I meet all my comrades, all the World War II veterans and Korean veterans and Vietnam veterans, and any veteran we like to greet. My wife comes with me every Saturday, and we have a good time and we exchange stories. Well, if you don't have a little pull at your stomach, I don't care how many times you've been out here, when you get out of the car, particularly in the evening when it's kind of twilight and the lights are coming on and the fountains are working. I brought 30 old World War II veterans here the day before we opened it officially, who were still in Congress, and there wasn't a dry eye on the place. I mean, let's face it, this is a very emotional experience for these men and their families. And it's just a wonderful thing to say hello to somebody and look them in the eye and say thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
We interviewed Earl Morris, who founded the Honor Flight program in 2005.
The idea of Honor Flight got started when I had about 30, 40 World War II veterans that I was seeing out at my VA clinic in Springfield, Ohio, who had never seen the memorial, and because they were my patients, I realized also that they would never get to see their memorial. So I started recruiting other pilots, and we started bringing the veterans out here, about 12 at a time and then 24 at a time, and it just gradually grew all across the country. During our first year of Honor Flight, we were able to bring in 137 for the entire year, and now just this one day alone, about 450 World War II veterans. I had no idea that this entire nation felt the same way as we do about World War II veterans, because World War II veterans collectively and literally saved the world. To this day, all of Europe is free, all the Pacific is free. That just didn't happen. They made it happen. Right now we're transitioning to World War II, Korean and Vietnam veterans. And our top priority, of course, is any veteran that's terminally ill. At Honor Flight, we haven't figured out yet which veterans do not deserve to see their memorial. Of course, every veteran deserves to see their memorial. And it's only through public support and wonderful folks that feel that it's important that these veterans come out here and experience America's thank you for their service. And we're so grateful for all the support we're receiving from all across the country.
Some of the veterans share their experiences with us.
And I went to Fort Knox, and I went to Fort Lee, and then I went to Fort Lewis, and then they shipped me across the Pacific to Korea, and I visited Japan. And then I came back just 20 miles south of here at Fort Belvoir,
And this is the only second time I've ever been to Washington, and I've never seen the monuments, so I really, really appreciate this. What impressed me is when we got in the airport and all the midshipmen were in this big line applauding. I couldn't believe it. I almost cried, you know. It was pretty neat. Of course, the fire trucks blowing water at us was pretty impressive too. But I'm amazed what you guys do, how you can pull it all off. When you got less than a month, you march like this. Hop, hoop, hip, hop, hop, hoop, hip, hop.
I enlisted in 1951. Done basic training down in Texas, went over to Mississippi, control tower operator school. Then I went over to Japan, over there for 2.5 years, control tower operator. After that, I went to South Carolina, finished my, that's when I got discharged.
A medic came down through all by himself, and he was running instead of taking care of anybody. And he told me that other medics would be along in a little while. And just soon after that, a medic come down with a stretcher, taking a guy down to Amiens, or the station wagon, the wagon they used for it. And they did come back and got me and took me down. I went to field hospital.
I was in the 95th Bomb Group in the 8th Air Force. And I flew 35 missions over Germany, or France and Germany and Czechoslovakia.
I was an airframe repairman. I worked on helicopters. We had Chinooks.
Well, I went into the Army back in the WW2, but then they transferred me right away to the Air Force. And at that time, it was called the Air Corps. And so then I finally, when I trained over here in the States and then moved over to England, and I was in a B-24 heavy bomber outfit over there, and we flied then over Germany and France and did a lot of damage over there. And then when I, after that was over, then I went into some infantry training for the getting ready for the Battle of the Bulge.
Oh, I was in the hospital corps stationed in Pensacola, Florida at the U.S. Naval Hospital. And I worked in the Dependents Ward and in the Sailors Ward.
I'm Ruth Hennessy, and I was a cadet nurse in the Army at Nichols General in Louisville, Kentucky. In fact, I met my husband. He was one of my first patients.
All right, it's went to Navy, went to boot camp in San Diego, service school, went to Japan, went 26 months to Japan, came back and went aboard a destroyer for the last 9 months in service. And I got lucky. There's 5 of us went to Japan, put every other one on a minesweeper. The 3 was on minesweepers, 2 of them lost our minesweepers. So I got lucky.
I was in the United States Coast Guard in the South Pacific and in the Caribbean during World War II on a sub chaser down in the Caribbean, and on the Aquarius, which was an AKA ship that had been in 8 invasions in the South Pacific. So it was a very active ship, and I'm real proud of it.
Took my basic training, flew to Alaska, then Yokohama, Japan. I took infantry training to Fort Knox, and when I got in Japan, I took tank training and left Yokohama, Japan, and landed in Korea on September the 16th at Incheon invasion, 8 o'clock at night, high tide. I was a tank driver. We couldn't get our tanks in, and I landed with the infantry. That's how I got the combat infantry badge. I was with the infantry for 3 days before we got our tanks in.
Well, I was stationed at Camp Rucker, Alabama, and I was a court reporter for the regiment, and I was administrative specialist while I was on duty during this Korean conflict with the 47th Division out of Minnesota.
I'm Ray LaChance. I'm from Galion, Ohio, and my time in service was spent mostly in Korea, Incheon to be exact. I enjoyed my tour of duty very, very much, although I was drafted by my friends and neighbors into the service, which I wasn't too happy to hear at the time, but I decided to make the best of it, and I had the most wonderful career in the service you could imagine.
We had the opportunity to watch the United States Marines Silent Rifle Platoon perform.
Mark, time, punch!
So many Marines have done it before us, and we're representing the entire Corps. And it's just an honor to get to travel around and do shows, and just honor the ones that be here to do it.
When they built the wall, they asked for Korean veterans to send their pictures in, and Billy's was one of them they chose and put on here. And he brought the actual picture, and he says, "Here I am. I'm 81 now, and this was me when I was 18." So today I'm leaving one of my shirts right here in front of Billy's picture. It says, "Semper Fi, Gunny Miser, April 18th, 2015, your guardian Dave Schott, Corporal, United States Marine Corps, 1969-70. I left a picture here of Billy and myself, and it says, "Dear Gunny Miser, what an honor it was to be your guardian on the Columbus Honor Flight in April of 2015.
Students and community members wrote letters to the veterans thanking them for their service.
So we do have a little bit of mail call. We want this to be a remembrance of the times when you were in the service and you were waiting for your mail call. So we have some envelopes of mail for you, and we have a couple of people that are going to help us out.
He's back. In the back here.
I got mail for Thomas Legg.
Up front.
Strimple. Strimple, where are you? Strimple. Sullivan.
Right here.
You know I love a short man.
What? No, I need to drop it down.
Thank you for your sacrifice and service to our country. You are truly one of America's heroes, and I wish you all the best in years to come.
A few of the veterans shared their feelings about the Honor Flight trip.
Well, today I had the experience of association, say, with the nicest bunch of people I ever been associated with, and all nice. It makes tears come in your eyes. And then these high school kids sent us a letter. And I like that very, very much. I'm a little emotional about that.
Jason, yeah.
Yeah, he took care of me and he did a very nice job, and everybody was so nice and so kind, so I really enjoyed myself today.
I thought it was the best thing I ever experienced. All the memorials, I was just dumbfounded. And I was also dumbfounded when we landed and all those service people was there. It's just out of this world. I never had anything like this happen in my life, and probably never will.
Well, it was really more than I ever expected, and I'll tell you, this is really marvelous. And we had more responses today from more people that really blows my mind to see what the people have said and how they responded to this great idea of having the honor flight.
It was a fantastic day all the way around. Everyone was so nice. You couldn't ask to be treated nicer.
Very well done. We had professional helpers all the way through. I felt like I didn't have to do anything but just enjoy.
The high point of today was when I got off of the plane and walked up the ramp, and all those guys, get ready. All those guys out there waiting to greet you. I didn't look for that. So that was the top part of the day for me.
In order for honor flight to happen, it takes many dedicated individuals to go as guardians who support their veterans throughout the trip.
Today has been one of the greatest days of my life, and that I had a chance to be involved with Korean vets and World War II vets, and I got to interact with them and see other people's interaction with them. I think that was the surprise. I wasn't expecting that as much, but it was, without a doubt, one of the most joyful days I will ever remember in my life. There's no doubt about it. I'm very happy that I got to do this.
So I first heard about honor flight when I was a freshman, but in my eyes, it's the best way to give back to our veterans because they gave back so much to us. I mean, it's the simplest thing to let them show how much we appreciate them and care about them. Give them a day to see the memorials, and just it's a day for them. So I'm just glad I was able to help out at least a little bit.
I don't know. I've never been able or given the opportunity to do something like this and meet people that are so fantastic and have such amazing stories and could talk for hours. And they're so funny and I'm extremely blessed and grateful to be able to take them on this flight.
This was my very first trip as a guardian. When I was a teacher, my 8th graders helped raise funds for the trip, but I never got to go on one. So now that I'm retired, I got to go. And it was, it exceeded all of my expectations. Everyone involved, and so many people are involved, and everyone added to the flow and the smoothness of the trip so that it was just as smooth as silk and everyone was able to have a really great time. And I adore Bill, who I got to know as my vet, and will stay in touch with him, forever.
This is my 47th trip with Honor Flight, and I am proud of my hometown of Gahanna and what the young men and women at the high school have done. But I do this to honor my parents. My father and my mother both served during World War II, along with 6 aunts and uncles. And I carry this cover with me. This cover, the hat, or you want to call it a hat, is in honor of Bill Myers Jr., who died in Iraq. His grandfather, who I took on the trip 2 years ago, or 3 years ago almost now, gave it to me, and I wear it in his honor to celebrate what he did for this country. And basically I do it to thank the men and women, our senior veterans, for what they did and the freedoms that I have here in this country, and without them that wouldn't be possible to do what I do today.
Thank you.